Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you the most OP Jaheira build for patch 8 of Baldur's Gate 3. So patch 8 introduced some new subclasses into the mix and we'll be showing you a cool combination of classes that's very powerful and thematic for Jaheira. If you've played the previous Baldur's Gate games, you'll know that she is a Druid fighter multiclass. Now, I've tried every single combination. I can't make it that good as some of the other combinations that I've tested, and I'll be showing you what I think to be the strongest while incorporating the Druid and the new Star Druid in particular. So for this, we get to choose our cantrips. I think Shillelagh is a great choice to be able to use your spellcasting ability for attack rolls early game. With a torch, this is your best damage option in the early game. Thorn Whip also pulls a creature closer to you. If you can switch out the high elf cantrip, I'd recommend taking Booming Blade, but if you can't, that's okay. Some people can, some people can't. Now for our ability scores, we're going to go highly around our wisdom here. We also need to have some dexterity and constitution, so a stat spread somewhere like this can work well. We're going to go with 16 dexterity, 14 constitution, and 16 wisdom, 10 strength, 10 charisma. So we'll roll with that stat spread there. I'll also be covering gear as well as a combat guide to show you how to use it. Now, disregard Jaheira's little farmer's tan that we got going on. I'm just using an outfit mod for the theming of this video. So yeah, we'll just ignore that there. Now into level 2, we get ourselves the Circle of the Stars. So this gives us the starry form, which allows us to go into the archer, chalice, or dragon forms. The dragon being the strongest here, because this makes it so that your concentration dice rolls will be at lowest a 10, which is really nice. So they would have to deal 20 damage to be able, or over 20 damage to break your concentration. The chalice will also give you healing if you do use a healing spell, and the archer gives you your luminous arrow ability, which is really nice. We also get the guiding bolt, and it uses a star map resource, or we can use spell slots if we want, and we also get the guidance spell. Now we get to prepare a few spells here. I'd recommend having Healing Word, Thunder Wave, also Creator Destroy Water. This is a really cool combination I'm going to show you here in this video. Ice Knife can be good, or Long Strider. Long Strider is really good for buffing up the team. Always have somebody that has that. Fog Cloud is also pretty useful, but Ice Knife can be cast when you're silenced. So if that happens to you in the early game, we're going to roll with that. Now into level 2 here, or 3 here, we get ourselves some level 2 spells. So I would recommend swapping out and taking Hold Person. It's really good to have, as it's a defensive powerhouse. It keeps your team from taking hits. And also Spike Growth can be really good to have too. Moonbeam is another option, especially if a cleric who can use the Sanctuary on you. You can move Moonbeam around without taking damage. And for the cantrip here, I guess Poison Spray or Resistance. And for the extra spell we'll take, we'll go with Moonbeam there. And for the feat, I would recommend increasing our dexterity. We could go with a wisdom increase if you want to go more spell casting. I'm going to show you what is best to do for best survivability. At level 5, we get ourselves level 3 spells, and we get another star map. And with this, we can go ahead by adding like Plant Growth, which is crowd control without requiring concentration, which is really nice. Also, Call Lightning can be good. It's a concentration. You can continually keep calling it down, and it's pretty good damage overall. And level 6, this is when we get our Owl Bear shape, which is great to have. We also get ourselves a Cosmic Omen. So whenever you long rest, you can consult the stars for a Cosmic Omen, a weal, or woe, increasing or decreasing attack rolls and saving throws and your teammates' ability checks. So you can save your team. Very defensive-minded. And for our next spell here, I think Sleet Storm is actually a lot more value than Call Lightning, so we'll go with our Sleet Storm. So that's what we'll roll with for spells. Now we're going to multi-class. It'd be nice to take another level here to get Woodland Being, because that can hold Spike Growth concentrations for us. However, we're going to add in the Wizard. The reason I'm going with the Wizard, I tried the Eldritch Knight Fighter. It can't combine the same way that the Wizard does. We're going to pretend the Bladesinging Wizard is like a fighter, because it does get the extra attack. But the other benefit of the Wizard is we can scribe spells from scrolls. So we can learn as whatever spell level that we want. Level 6 spells, you can get the Sunbeam, you can get otilukes Freezing Sphere, we can get Chain Lightning. It all works very well together. And we can use the Helmet of Intellect to be able to give ourselves a high spellcasting modifier. And there's a specific item that actually benefits this very much, which I'll be showing you in the combats or the gear section. So we're going to go with a Booming Blade cantrip there. I'd also recommend Toll the Dead's pretty decent, but Bone Chill will stop the target receiving healing. And then for the final one, we can go with Ray of Frost or Shocking Grasp. So, and actually Mage Hand is another good choice because you can throw water bottles for you. Now, for our spell selection, we have a lot of overlap here, but we can always prepare spells. So we'll take Shield because that's a new spell that we can't get. We'll take the Magic Missile, we'll take Mage Armor. Anything that you aren't able to take from the Druid, we may as well take here. So we're going to go with these spells. So Find Familiar, Grease, Chromatic Orb, Mage Armor, Magic Missile, and Shield. And we can only prepare one spell right now. However, that will change when we add in our Circlet of Intelligence. Level 2, we get to take our blade singing subclass. This gives us the blade song, and it'll give us a +3 to our armor class, +3 to constitution saving throws, which is nice. It pairs well with our dragon form. And we get to take a couple more spells here. Just to size self and that. And then we'll go with a scimitar. Fits thematically for Jaheira. And again, we can only prepare one spell, so that's fine. Into level 3, we get ourselves a level 2 spells now. We can take some of the ones that we couldn't get previously. We already have ourselves like old person, so we'll take Scorching Ray. And if you can take Shadowblade, you don't have to use it. Shadowblade is extremely effective. Misty Step's also nice. You can get scrolls to learn it though, and Darkness is another good option. And for the prepared spell, I guess we'll go with a Scorching Ray. Now, again, we're going to use a Helmet of Intellect to be able to cast more than what we just have there. And for our next level spell, I guess Shocking Grasp. And for the spell selection, Misty Step. Mirror Image is also quite nice to increase your armor class by 9, so that could be a good option as well. We'll keep that for prepared. And for our ability score improvement, we're not going to increase anything but dexterity. Now you can also go with the alert feed for a +5 to initiative. You can go with the spell sniper, and you can take Eldritch Blast and get an increased critical hit chance, but I think dexterity works best for better weapon, or I guess better weapon attack rolls. We also get ourselves better armor class and a bunch of other benefits from it. Now this is where we get some of the most impactful spells like Fireball, Lightning Bolt. You can get Haste as well. You can get quite a few different spells here, and we can only prepare 4 of them, unfortunately, right yet. So we'll just go with that. And for our final level, extra attack. So this makes it like a fighter, kind of, because you can get the extra attack in combat, but we still stay a druid. We got all the spell casting in both. And due to the limitations of Baldur's Gate 3 only going to level 12, this is, I think, the best combination. So at this level, we can take Haste and our Glyph of Warding, or well, I guess we should always take Counterspell, because you can't learn that from a scroll, so you may as well have that. And we'll prepare Counterspell. So the other nice thing is we can learn our spells from scrolls. So Chain Lightning, otilukes, Freezing Sphere, you name it, we can learn it. So, and for gear, this is pretty interesting because we got a couple great options. Since we have Mage Armor, this opens things up for us to be able to do a lot of different combinations. So we'll add our Mage Armor to the list just to show you what we can do if we have ourselves the Robe of the Weave. This gives a +2 to armor class, +1 to spell save DC and spell attack rolls. So that actually gives us a nice boost to our spell casting. So we get the Warped Headband of Intelligence, setting our intelligence basically to 16. And then with this, it makes it like it's 18 with that +1 to spell save DC. And I also like the Disintegrating Nightwalkers for the Misty Step, and the can't be ensnared or get stuck in place. However, we can also use the Evasive Shoes for a increase to our armor class as well. The Gloves of the Battle Mage's Power. This is the real beauty of this build. So when you hit a weapon with target with a weapon or a cantrip that uses a weapon, so Booming Blade, this counts, you gain Arcane Acuity. So we can do some melee attacks to build up our spell casting. So that makes up for our lack of intelligence, and that's really good. We also can get the Cloak Protection here for better armor class, and the Ring of Protection, so we're just trying to min-max our overall survivability. I also think the Coruscation Ring here works very well, so we can apply Radiating Orbs to the target. We can't get the Radiating Orb gear because it's heavier armor than what we're working with. I mean, you could use the Luminous Gloves if you really wanted to, but I think it's best to go with the Coruscation Ring here because this spell damage is pretty broad in what we can apply. So I also have the Knife of the Undermountain King, reduce the number you need to roll a critical hit by attacking by 1, and you also get the Shadowblade ability. Now, we can also use Shadowblade. Shadowblade has the same effects as this, but it does a 2d8 of psychic damage, which is a lot higher than what we have here. And we can actually power this up even further. Now, Belm is Jaheira's blade, so we want to have that in our offhand. It just makes a whole lot of sense, but it gives us the perfectly balanced strike, essentially giving us another main hand attack as a bonus action. So we can forego our whatever you need, either the Dragon Breath or our main hand attack. Main hand attack will be stronger if we use a different combination here. Since if you're in Act 2 with the Resonance Stone, what you can do instead is take a staff that has the Arcane Battery. So what we can do here is then, I guess, use that to create the Shadowblade. I'll first show off the Mage Armor, though, so we can apply Mage Armor to ourselves. We can also replenish our spell slots because we have the Arcane Recovery. But that puts our armor class up to 23, which will further get increased if we put our Blade Song on, which will put this to 26. And then if you have Haste, that's 28. So pretty good armor class, all things considered. If you want to go with a clothing-based option, this does require you to prepare a spell. Another thing you can do is actually use the... since we wear light armor, is wear the Armor of the Sporekeeper. It's an option. And you can also, if you really want to min-max defense, you could put the Bracer to defense on. So that would take our armor class up to 30, which is actually pretty crazy for a build like this. So it's not necessary to do that. I think the Gloves of the Battle Mage's Power end up being a little bit better. But if you wanted to go with something like this could work pretty well because it's just going to give you a really high armor class. But the reason I put Marka Heshker here is you got the Kreska's Favor, which is nice, so you can prepare this, give yourself a nice buff to your lightning damage or anything like that. But what we can also do is we can use Arcane Battery to create a Shadow Blade, and we can upcast it, and this is going to be the most overpowered version of it. So with this, we now have the Shadow Blade, which does a 4d8 of psychic damage, which is doubled with the Resonance Stone, so that's like 8d8 damage. And then we can put Bellman or Offhand to give ourselves that perfectly balanced strike, which you can see above my head here does a 48 plus 5 psychic damage, which is absolutely absurd. If you want to go even crazier, you could go with a Elixir of Cloud Giant Strength, and then that would boost our damage up to a +8 on that. So even further increasing the damage up to a potential of 80 damage for a bonus action is nuts. So we got ourselves the Mirror Image applied to, or Mage Armor applied to ourselves. Now for preparing our spells. So if you get a Scroll of Otilukes Freezing Sphere here, we can learn that. That's a really good, one of the most effective spells. Chain Lightning is also a really good choice to go with because Chain Lightning just hits extremely hard. But whatever other spells that you got, like Globe of Invulnerability is a really great one to learn. Ice Storm, Cone of Cold, your Circle of Death, Sunbeam, any spell that you want to have equipped, you can likely learn. Most of them you can learn from spell scrolls, so that gives us a lot of options when it comes to what we were going to select for our spells. The Druid spells, that's fine. It's the Wizard, so we'll add in our Lightning Bolt, we'll add in Otilukes Freezing Sphere, we'll add in Cone of Cold. That's pretty well rounded. So we have Shield, Mage Armor, Scorching Ray, Shadow Blade, Fireball, Lightning Bolt, Counterspell, Cone of Cold, and Otilukes Freezing Sphere. Pretty good stuff. You can use your level 4 spell slots to upcast Fireball and Lightning Bolt if you'd like, or you can take the Ice Storm if you didn't want to use the Mage Armor and you want to go with Light Armor. We also got our cantrips here. Pretty effective all things considered, so I'll show you what it looks like in actual combat. So right off the bat, we can use our Cosmic Omens to help out our team here. So this target is attacking Shadowheart, and we can remove a 1d6 from the attack roll. Now, they need a 21 to hit, and they rolled a 26, so there's not a great chance that we'll protect them, so we're not going to react that time. Typically, it'd be a good choice to go with, but I would recommend only using your reaction if you think it's going to benefit us. So now what we can do is we're in our combat, so activate our Blade Song here, so that's going to give us a nice boost. So that puts our armor class with 28, and if we had the Bracer defense, it's a 30 armor class. Pretty strong. Now there's a large group of enemies here, so the best option would actually be to do this. That makes it a little bit easy. So yeah, you don't have to do that. What we can do first is start off by doing Booming Blade here, and then doing it melee attacks to build up our Arcane Acuity so that we have a higher hit chance and likely to land that. 52 and 14, yeah, it gets a little crazy. Then we can follow up with a attack. I would recommend turning off your dual wielding so you don't accidentally do a extra attack. And they're in shadows, so we get a nice bonus, 56 damage. Pretty crazy. So we still have our action now, and we built up a little bit of, I guess we have Fire Infusion, or that's not our character. There we are. So we got ourselves the Arcane Acuity +4, which will increase our spell save DC so that we now have a 20 on Wizard and a 20 on our Druid, and Wizard both have a 20 spell save DC. That's the nice thing, is all of our spells are going to be roughly using the same here. And then we also are bladesinging too, so we have a higher chance of that. What we can also do is go into our Starry form too, so that's another nice thing. And what's nice is our Starry forms will actually only require a bonus action. So we can go ahead with the Dragon form here. So boom, put ourselves into that form, and that gives us an increase to our saves. And we also get ourselves the Dazzling Breath, which is a bonus action, 3d6 of radiant damage. Pretty nice. But what we're going to do is we're going to launch a big Otilukes Freezing Sphere here and create difficult terrain, or get counterspelled too. And there goes our level 6 spell slot. Not great, but those things do happen. Now here's a great option. We also have our shield, so we can burn a spell slot, or we can use our Cosmic Omens. This will reduce a 1d6 off the attack roll, so that can be nice. That only needed a 1, and that turned that hit into a miss. So that was a worthwhile use of our Cosmic Omen. So we're got another turn here, so we can use Booming Blade again. That's going to be one of the best damage options. Critical hit, 78 and 17 damage. Absolutely nutty what you can do with this. And we also get advantage because of the shadows there. Oh, critical miss. Those things do happen. Now, if there's any high priority targets like a mage, you should definitely go after them first. But we also got some cool options here. So we can just follow up with another attack and likely take them out. So we'll go boom, 46 damage. It didn't actually finish them off. And I guess we'll just follow up. Or maybe here's a good idea. So we'll miss that target. We do have a bonus action for the Dazzling Breath here. So if you can line that up right, that would be perfect. So we'll try and get both of them without hitting our beloved Shadowheart there. and try to line that up just right. So does require some trial and effort, but boom, that'll apply and take out a target. It's supposed to apply radiating orbs with a coruscation ring, but I guess I'm not lit up actually, so that didn't really count. But yeah, since we didn't get our otilukes freezing sphere off, it made the fight a little bit more challenging. And here's another chance, so we can reduce by 4. This is okay chance of succeeding, so we'll do that. And didn't end up working out for us, so that sucks. But yeah, that's a nice option to have. So we're in a situation here where we're surrounded, so we'll go with a booming blade here. That should hopefully do enough. And there we go, we actually got radiating orbs applied to that target. We got 4 stacks of them somehow. That works, we'll go with it. And then we'll attack this target here. Boom, 84 damage was enough to finish the job. Pretty crazy. We can eat that opportunity attack, but I think what we could do is we can actually, yeah, we can hit multiple targets with a fireball. And since we're here, we may as well upcast a little bit. Boom, applied some more radiating orbs, got some more guards to fight us. And we have 1 bonus action ability left. We could do that offhand attack, not worth it. We could do the perfectly balanced strike, which is our main hand. That's worth it. It does 48 plus 8, or we can do a 3d6 plus 3. I think that this one works a little bit better. He doesn't need much health to be reduced to 0, so we could even just, you'd even go with the Blade Song Climax too. It's another choice, but not the best choice. We'll just go with that main hand attack and miss it horribly. And we want Vengeance, so we're going to go with a just main hand attack. We're not going to use Booming Blade on this target. There we go, critical hit, 88 damage, nuts. We're going to finish off this target with our Booming Blade, hopefully. There we go, 44 and 11, and we made him curl over like that, so that's even funnier. And these folks are all grouped together perfectly to get hit with our Cone of Cold, so may as well go with that because the damage from that is going to be pretty effective. Boom, and it applied radiating orbs, 2 of them to each target, so it's a -2 to each target's attack rolls. And unfortunately our Dragon Breath is not the same range as Cone of Cold, so we do have to get a little bit closer to be able to do that. And boom, then we finished off all of them except for 1 target left. So that was pretty good actually. Cone of Cold into Dazzling Breath, since they have a similar radius, is pretty good, even though Dazzling Breath is a little shorter. Again, here's another great opportunity to use a Cosmic Omen, Weal, or Woe. Saves your spell slots, and it turned it into a miss, which was perfect. So yeah, that is one of the nice parts about the Star Druid, is you can save your team, especially if you wanted to go with the Duelist Prerogative, which will give you 2 different of those reactions. However, we only have so many Cosmic Omens that we can apply. Now, to finish them off, we can do a variety of different things. We can go with Scorching Ray. I'll just do a Scorching Ray because it's not likely to take them out. No, I'll actually just go with a normal attack here. So, bonk, and that should finish the job. There it is. That was pretty strong. So, yeah, while she isn't truly a fighter druid, she is a blade singing, which is kind of similar, and it keeps us our full spell progression. So it's as if she was a full druid, getting all those different spells. This is pretty powerful. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you all in the next video.